Welcome back to SportsZone. I'm your host, John Phillips, and I'm joined by Tina Orozco and Eli Thomas as we talk the best team at UNT, our football team. We had a bye last week, but then the Navy game before that. I mean, guys, how was that game?
It was incredible. I think it's such a big boost in the confidence of the UNT game, or of the UNT team. They defeated the Navy 31-17. Huge boost in morale, especially right now where it's time to lock in terms of playoffs and conference. It was a fun game to go to. I went. The energy was so high. We had the whole section with the guys with their shirts off, and it was just so much fun.
Eli, she mentioned the conference implications. I mean, how big of a win was this for us in the American Conference?
Huge. We're rolling now, 8-1. So after the loss to USF, I think that, like she said, builds our confidence back, and we get a big win against a Navy team that some consider might be better than USF, and that's a big team in our conference as well. So to get our confidence up after a loss to USF, I think that's a good win for us for sure.
That's fair. And now we go into a game this week against a UAB team that has struggled this year. You know, they're 3-6 on the year, but they have a win over Memphis, a really, really good team. Are you guys a little worried about maybe a trap game here?
I think after winning against the Navy and defeating we broke their streak, 10-game streak. UNT's riding on a high, but in terms of that, I feel like they don't need to overestimate their abilities when going against UAB, especially off of a big win like this. It's key for them to focus and not lose that momentum just because it's UAB and their record isn't so great.
Yeah, and like she said, we need to be focused because when you're playing on the road against a team that has nothing to play for, that's 3-6 on the year, that's how they caught Memphis, right? They have nothing to play for, and we're 8-1. So that momentum going in, we need to carry that focus, that discipline, and get us a win because, you know, on them road games, playing against a team that has nothing to play for and they're definitely trying to ruin your season, that's a team that you need to watch out for. It's at every single level, no matter if it's college, high school, or even the NFL or the pros.
And you mentioned this game being on the road, and I think that's a really important factor because this UAB team is really good at home. Yeah. You know, they're 3-1 this year. Since coming back as a football program, 39-10 at home. This is a team that does not lose at home. I mean, do you guys think that we'll be able to overcome that and give them a loss at home?
For sure. I mean, Messmaker has been playing really well all year, and this defense isn't really good. Their offense isn't really good. They don't have a ton of talent on that roster, so especially since the way that we've been playing, the way the defense has been playing, and they don't have a lot of guys they can give the ball to in the air and their quarterback, to me, he's not really that smart. So in my opinion, I think that Messmaker and his offense has been doing good things all year, and we continue to do that. In the defense, we haven't been giving a lot of passes through the air and make them run the ball. If we do that, then we have a great chance to win the game and for fourth this season and go to a bowl game.
That's fair, Tina. I mean, how do you see this offense performing?
Going off of Eli, under the lead of Messmaker, I mean, against the Navy, he completed 19 for 24 passes, 234 yards. I mean, their offense is insane, a dominant run game, especially against a team like the Navy, who they're known for their rushing attack. And I think from there, under the lead of that, I think they could get a win at a home game. I know that the energy is going to be insane over at UAB, but I think we could get a win against them even at home.
That's fair. Is anyone on this UAB team that scares you? You know, you said they didn't have a lot of talent, but is there anyone on this team that you're like, oh, maybe watch out for them?
I think for me, it's going to be Javon Jackson, the running back for UAB. He's not someone that is going to be always on the highlight reels or super big name, but he's always so consistent, especially against their game, Alabama State and Memphis, like we were talking about Memphis. They really rely on him in terms of a rushing attack. He keeps the team alive. If UNT gets a little too comfortable, I think he could have an opportunity to take advantage of that, and he's definitely someone to look after.
Yeah, and a player for me is a player that's a wide receiver for them that has 600 yards on the year. He leads the team in receptions. He leads their teams in yards. But I'm not really worried about that because, like I said earlier, they don't have a ton of talent on the team. That's their most talented guy. He's only a sophomore, by the way, so he's been playing really well in the year, and they don't really have a lot of talent down the roster. And I think that we're just fine because, like I said, we've been really good in the air. We've only allowed 169 passing yards per game, and that's 10th in the whole entire nation. So, therefore, we don't really allow them to get the ball to their top guys from game to game. So I think that we're fine there and we'll be good in the game for sure.
Yeah, Iverson Hook scares me a little bit, but, you know, I have confidence in this defense. What are you guys' score predictions for this game? What do you think happens?
I think it's going to be a fairly close game. I'm going to say like 36-40, 45, maybe UNT. I expect them to win, but I feel like it's going to be a close game. I think as long as they catch it at the beginning and run with that, I think it might be a win.
Eli, do you agree it's going to be close?
You must believe in a trap game, because I don't agree at all. I think this game will be over by halftime. We'll do the same thing that USF did to us in the second half, but we're going to continue to dominate them during the whole entire game. I think the game will be over by halftime. We stump UAB in the ground and we get a win, because the momentum, the confidence that we built up over the years and in this game, over the season for sure, I think that we have something to prove. Even though it's a trap game, going on the road, playing a team like UAB that you said is 3-1 at home, I don't think we care about that. We're going in to prove dominance and finish the season with a win.
See, I think that's that mentality. I think they might get struck with a little bit of work from UAB. I think they need to become prepared. Everyone's fighting for that chance.
Yeah, and UNT definitely has to be prepared, because their season's on the line every single game they play, because we're not in the top 25 right now for the college football playoff poll, but we could get there with a couple of wins for the end of the season. I mean, how do you see the rest of the season ending up for us?
I think, or you can go ahead, sorry.
I foresee a bowl game for us, because we already have 8 wins on the year, and it takes about 9 wins to get there. But college football playoff, I think that's out of the equation, because you can look at the top 12. You got BYU there, you got Texas there, and those are teams that they're going to overlook us, because those are big name schools and teams in the SEC and stuff like that. And also the game in USF, I think that ruined our chances as well to get there. But there's no way, me personally, I think that Cincinnati should be above us in the standings at 25. There's no way, because if you got USF at 24, I know we didn't compete for the whole game, but we competed for at least a half. And I think Cincinnati, we do more things well than them. We play really well in the passing games. Our defense really good. And I think we have one of the best QBs in the country. Yes, one of the best QBs in the country, Drew Messmaker. And I think we have a very good head coach that should stay here next year as well. And I seen he got re-signed. So Eric Morrison, he's a great coach, and we have a great QB and a great defense. So there's no way possible Cincinnati should be over us in the standings.
I think winning out for UNT is key. We play Rice and Temple after this weekend's game. I think that's going to be key in winning the conference title and then the major bowl selection. I don't think it's going to be a huge chance for them to make playoffs, but I think with that, it's going to be a historic season for UNT and for our school. It's going to be a huge accomplishment if they continue to win out.
That's fair, and I mean, you mentioned the USF game as the big decision maker for us, and I think I agree. That's kind of what's gotten us out of the playoffs. But if we win out and we make the conference championship game and have a chance to avenge that loss, do you think that beating USF in a dominant fashion might change the committee's minds and rank us above them?
For sure, we can get above them, but I don't know if we can get into the college football player. That's the thing. We can finish with a bowl game and a conference championship, and I think that's the mindset for us for the rest of the year. I don't think we should have our minds focused on getting into the college football, because, like I said, they're going to overlook us. Even though I don't think Texas had the greatest season, I don't think Arch Manning has the greatest season. I think, honestly, Drew Messmaker has honestly played better than him, in my opinion. But still, though, I think those teams are going to be overlooked because of the teams that they play in, because of the conference they're in. But still, though, I think that our mindset should be go get a conference championship like we haven't had in years, and go get a bowl game and win that one. That's where the mindset and the start should be for us.
That's fair, because the committee definitely is kind of disrespecting us. We heard the head of the committee say that the group of top 5 teams they looked at were JMU, Boise State, Tulane over UNT. I mean, how does that make you feel about this team, Tina?
I mean, Tulane in our conference is right smack dab in the middle, and we're only 3rd or 4th. I think it's super disrespectful, but I think even a win like a conference title or a bowl is a huge win for a team like UNT and for the school. It might be considered a small win compared to other schools and the playoffs, but for us, I think it'd be huge, historic for us.
Yeah, this is a program that hasn't really had a lot of success, and you mentioned that success is because of Drew Messmaker and Eric Morris, and hopefully we can keep them. But I mean, do you see that happening? Do you think that we'll be able to keep hold of our star players? Maybe even Caleb Hawkins could transfer. I mean, do you think we'll be able to keep them?
Drew Messmaker, I don't know, because he signed an agent as soon as he came here, as soon as he started at the beginning of the year. So maybe not because of how well he's been playing, but Eric Morris, I think he can stick around and stay around. We know why he bounces around from school to school, and he propels quarterbacks like he's done for quarterbacks in the past, and he brings these offenses to different heights, and he goes to a different school. But I think that we have a good culture here. Our defense and offense have been playing well, so I think that might maybe lead him to stay a little bit. So.
I mean, I hope so, but a lot of that culture is Eric Morris, and do you think he's going to stay this season?
I think in terms of Drew Messmaker, we said last week, UNT breeds great talent who often go on to other teams, no matter if it was football or softball or basketball. I hope we can keep him, but I don't think that's in our hopes.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if we make the playoffs, we'll be able to keep him. I don't know, but we'll have to see. Next block, we'll be talking about the other men's team, the basketball team. Join me after these commercial breaks.
There's no harm in wanting to have fun while in college, but it's easy to lose track of how much you've had. Apps like Drink Control and Alkadroid can help keep track of your consumption and blood alcohol levels. If you or someone else does drink too much, the signs of alcohol poisoning are as follows: pale skin, vomiting, confusion, low body temperatures, irregular breathing, blacking out, and is hard to wake up or cannot be woken up.
Dude, are you okay? Hey, what's wrong? Wake up.
It's an exciting time of year, but it's important to be responsible. If you suspect someone is suffering from alcohol poisoning, get help immediately. You will not get in trouble for seeking help if you are underage. For more info and resources, go to UNT's Division of Student Affairs.
Hey, Alex. This guy on the internet says he wants to give me money.
That sounds suspicious.
What do you mean?
Typically, strangers who promise you money on the internet have their own best interest in mind. They often use bounced checks, which will disappear shortly after depositing, but not before they've asked for some money in return.
So he doesn't really want to spoil me.
No.
Well, then what should I do?
The best way to handle it is to block and report the suspicious message, or even consult local law enforcement if you've already fallen victim.
So I guess we aren't going to Key West for spring break.
No.
I use Flex to buy my favorite snacks.
I use Flex to get me through my mornings.
I use Flex at my favorite campus restaurants. I love how Flex is a cashless payment method and can be used at all campus dining venues.
So, how do you use Flex?
Welcome back. I am joined by Ian Cropper and CJ Vasquez. We're about 1/8 of the way into the NBA season. A lot of crazy things have happened. I mean, we're talking about UNT men's basketball. Sorry, I had basketball on the mind. But, we started off 3-1 last night. Let's talk about that loss. I mean, everyone is going to be talking about it. Deshaun Stevenson called for timeout when we had none left, a Chris Webber moment of his own. I mean, how'd you guys feel about that game?
It just the way that that loss happened, and just the way that he used that timeout to allow Oregon State come back and win that game. Just not only it looked bad for us, we got national media over that. Like, there's ESPN videos of Robinson looking like this, and that's not good. But especially that looks embarrassing on us.
Yeah, you never want to have that kind of moment go viral for your team. I mean, we were up for most of the game. Do you still have some promising signs from that game, Ian?
Yeah, I mean, we did fight hard. It's not ideal that we lost, especially in such a frankly embarrassing fashion. But I don't think it'll sap our momentum too much going forward, especially given how excellent our defense has played.
That's fair. I mean, this team has really stepped up. Even in that game, we played really well, and we're 3-1 on the year. Who has stepped up for you the most? What players have impressed you on a team that had a lot of turnover coming into the season?
I think that's really stepped up for me is Will McClendon. Obviously, he did get hurt through this game, which that's a bummer, and hopefully he's not out too long for longevity for his outage. But, I mean, he's still, his signing is still highlighted, bringing an elite combination of both, scoring and playmaking ability. And he led 16 points in that game against Oregon State. So he's still playing well. You just got to hope and pray that he's not out for too long, because we're going to need him soon.
Yeah, that Will McClendon injury was another terrible part of last night's game. We have that embarrassing ending, and then on the last shot, Will McClendon gets injured. I mean, that's the worst case scenario, but he has looked really good. He's been a really good shooter for our team, really good scorer. I really like what he brought to the team. Ian, who stepped up for you so far?
Well, if you want to talk about someone who did it quite literally, what about Dylan Arnett, the hero behind the buzzer beater win against Loyola? He's the best performing forward on the roster and the classic two-way big who's excellent on both offense and defense, especially the latter, since North Texas actually is the third best defense in the American Conference right now. There is a bit of a concern on offense, but given our trio of amazing guards, it's amazing it's not surprising he isn't getting a bit more work, and as that buzzer beater shows, he will step up if given the chance.
Yeah, we had the embarrassing game for Oregon State, but Loyola Chicago, like you said, was a buzzer beater win, super crazy moment. He was a big part of that. Dylan Arnett has looked really, really good this year. I want to highlight, even though he had the embarrassing moment yesterday, I want to highlight Deshaun Stevenson, because I think he's still played really well offensively this season, and he's been a hard-nosed defender. He's brought that culture that we want from Cleveland State to UNT, and despite the timeout incident, he's played really, really well this year. But coming up, we have our biggest test, because Oregon State, we lost that game, but they're not, the highest ranked team, and now we have St. Mary's. We're going to California. I mean, this is a big game. They're top 40 in Ken Palm. How do you guys see us doing against them?
I mean, if they would have won against Oregon State, I would have felt a lot better and not be like, oh, like, we're going to lose this game. But now with the loss against Oregon State, it really has shifted into a more negative impact on the momentum headed into this game because it's a close and it slipped away and it just kind of stings right now.
That's fair, but I mean, maybe that's going to be motivation for this team to get back. I mean, how do you think we're going to do against St. Mary's?
It could be motivation, but I do think their roster is just stronger. If you look at the stats, the defenses are actually pretty similar, but St. Mary's is just a lot better on offense. They're averaging 87 points per game to our 74. I do think the Mean Green defense will at least make it a respectable showing, but I still have St. Mary's. If you press me on a score, I'd say 75-68.
Yeah, that St. Mary's talent, or their roster is very talented, and you said they average a lot of points, and 40 of those points are from their duo of Mikey Lewis and Moraskis. I mean, it's a deadly duo, and our defense is really going to need to hone in on them. Do you think that we're going to be able to slow those two down this game?
I believe so. I mean, just the way that, there's still some heart in this game. You don't want to let this one loss, sting you. But I think, they still can, and they can stop that duo together.
That's fair. I mean, do you think that we're going to be able to stop their top scorers, and do you think that matchup is most important, or what matchup do you think is really important for this game?
Well, I think it's interesting to compare the main guards on each team, Lewis versus Stevenson. It really shows the difference between these two offenses. Like, if you look at the stats, Lewis seems like the better one on paper. 7 more points per game, 3.5 more assists. I do believe Stevenson has the slight edge in rebounds, but then you look at the time played, Stevenson's playing 8 more minutes every night. And it shows that we're rotating guys out a lot more quickly. So I do think that St. Mary's is more likely to lean on their superstars than we are.
Yeah, we have kind of a great guard rotation. We've mentioned Will McClendon, we've mentioned Jashawn Stevenson, but there are some other players that have stepped up. We have David Trell Jr. from UTEP, the transfer. He's averaging double-digit points. I mean, is there anyone else on this team that you think has really played well so far at the start of the season?
So far, if I can also mention too, Jershwan Stevenson. He's also been stepping up too for this UNT basketball team and scoring. I think he scored like 18 points in the opener and had 3 steals. I mean, he's still showing out. I mean, even in the loss, I mean, he had 14 points and 2 steals. But he's looked like a good playmaker for this men's basketball team.
Yeah, he definitely has. And earlier you mentioned Dylan Arnett as a standout for UNT so far. St. Mary's has some serious size with McKeever. He's 7'1", a true 7-footer, which you don't really see that often in D1. Do you think Dylan Arnett's up for that challenge? Do you think he's going to be able to stop him a little?
I think so, yeah. Like I said, he hasn't been as relied on for his offensive production, but he can absolutely produce like that when necessary.
Yeah, I mean, so far we're 3-1. We have the tough loss. We have a big game coming up. I mean, what are your thoughts or how do you think this team's going to pan out for the rest of the season? Do you think that this is a team that could have tournament hopes, or do you think that's a little bit too early to say for this team?
I think with the win against, if they beat St. Mary's, they have like a lot of, it's going to be not only just very big, but they also have that ambition of becoming a mid-major, better program and better, resume for heading into like an NCAA tournament, and it could be really huge for them.
Yeah, I mean, Ian, do you think that this team has shown you the signs of what you want to see this early into the season, or?
It's shown some signs. I would definitely like to see a bit more of that offensive spark. Something I find interesting, if you look at the statistical leaders for the conference in terms of individual players, in terms of points, field goal percentage, and everything else, we only have one in the top 10 of any of those categories. David Terrell Jr. is 4th in assists. We don't have any leaders in points or field goal percentage. I think that speaks to a need to develop a bit more of an explosiveness on offense.
Yeah, I think coming into the season, we talked about how there was a need for a go-to scorer to develop because while we have a lot of nice pieces, Will McClendon, there's not really that standout scorer, and especially with Will McClendon's injury, we don't have that standout scorer since he was leading our team in points. CJ, do you think anyone is going to take that leap for the rest of the season, or do you think that the tail of our season is going to be a balanced attack?
I think there's going to be some more people stepping up. I mean, you still got Dylan that's still going to step up. Stevenson is also going to step up as well. And as long as they manage the tempo and take care of the ball, and they're going to make smart decisions. And without McClendon, even if he's going to be out like for longevity, I think they're just going to be just fine.
Ian, could you see maybe Jashawn Stevenson stepping up into that role, or do you think that we are bound to not have that go-to elite scorer?
I think it's too early to say. I could see Stevenson making that leap, but right now the trend has been predominantly a balanced attack, no one getting too many minutes. And and if we keep dropping more games, maybe they do rely on some of the singular players more. But for the meantime, if the rotational attack is working, then why change it?
That's very fair. And I think an important part of that rotational attack is going to be keeping up solid three-point shooting, because this team has been pretty good at shooting the ball. And a big part of that has been players like Kamai Crosby off the bench, shooting 37.5%. Do you think that the team is going to continue to shoot the ball well? Because that's been a concern for us the past couple seasons and coming into this one.
Not so much. I mean, I think, again, it'll just be fine. We just got to wait and see on these things.
That's fair. Ian, I mean, do you think the shooting's going to hold up?
I think so. I wouldn't be surprised to see some of these guys develop as the year continues, but again, it's just too early to say.
Yeah, and before the season, a big talking point was if we would keep that UNT toughness, that UNT defense, that UNT grit. Have you guys seen that defense coming in through these first 4 games? Do you think that we're continuing that culture?
Absolutely. I think with the the new heavy emphasis on defense, it's gotten a lot better and it's become more aggressively. Now we are still getting some penalties, but they always love to give us penalties whenever we are aggressive in defense, and it's a great thing to be aggressive on defense.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is a good thing to be aggressive. That's really how you set a culture, even if it does lead to some foul trouble sometimes. But do you think that the American is going to be a tough conference this year, or do you think that UNT has a chance to be near the top of the conference?
Well, I think we have a chance, especially because of that amazing defense. Like I mentioned earlier, how we don't have many statistical leaders. We rank 3rd in the conference in total defense compared to 11th in total offense. And even though we aren't the highest scoring unit, we make other teams fight for every point they can. And I think that's going to be a huge asset going into further conference play.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely hope so. We'll have to see going into the further conference play. I hope that UNT can get some wins. We'll have to see. But next block, we'll be actually talking about the NBA, unlike earlier. Join me after these commercial breaks.
Craving something fresh, flavorful, and made just for you? Look no further than Avesta, your go-to destination for a delicious, full-service dining experience. Dive into our customizable omelets, expertly crafted by our talented cook Jonathan, who guarantees every bite is perfection. All our dishes are handmade, prepared with only the freshest ingredients. Explore our assembly line where you can choose from any of our globally inspired dishes, or customize your plate. It's that easy. And let's not forget dessert. Indulge your sweet tooth with treats from Clark Bakery. With convenient payment methods including card or flex, it's the perfect dining spot for any occasion. Quench your thirst with our wide selection of drinks. Just hand your drinking card to our friendly waiter, and they'll bring your beverage of choice right to your table. When you're done savoring every last bite, our attentive staff will whisk away your tray. Enjoy the peaceful ambiance as you dine in, or use our takeout option for a meal on the go. Avesta.
Has this ever happened to you?
My bike! My bike is gone!
Stolen bikes are an epidemic sweeping college campuses across America.
What am I supposed to do?
It's quite simple. The We Mean Green Fund has partnered with the UNT Police Department to offer free bike locks to any UNT student with a bike. Just show up with your bike in tow and ask.
Now I'll never lose my bike ever again.
Enough worrying. Get your bike lock today.
Looking to open a free checking or savings account but don't know where to start? Check out DatQ Credit Union right here on campus. Get your Mean Green debit card instantly or apply for a DatQ Visa credit card today. Your school, your card. Plus, make deposits at their 24/7 ATM, checks or cash whenever you need it. Make sure to sign up for DatQ's online banking platform and mobile app for easy access anytime, anywhere. Visit them at www.datq.org to learn more. DatQ, the official financial institution of UNT Athletics.
Welcome back to SportsZone. I'm your host, John Phillips, and I'm joined by Maddie Holston and Jack Strupsha as we talk about the NBA. We're about an eighth of the season, or way through the season. What have you guys thought about the season so far?
It's been a pretty wild start. I mean, we're kind of seeing the good teams we expected to be good. Some teams, towards the bottom of the standings, no surprise there. I think, good look, talking about the Mavericks, their start to the season. Obviously, I think the big headline across the entire NBA is the firing of Nico Harrison. So that's a pretty, surprising for some, not surprising for others.
A deserved move, though. I don't think anyone would argue that. Do you guys think that Nico Harrison being fired is going to kind of switch gears for the franchise? Do you think that the Mavericks could recover, bounce back from this?
Honestly, I think they can. But in my personal opinion, I think that Nico Harrison is definitely a scapegoat for Patrick Dumont because, somebody's got to be behind this.
signs and stuff, like it wasn't all Nico who traded Luka, and we all know that. So I think maybe the fan base will turn around and start supporting them more.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. Patrick Dumont probably did have a little bit more of a hand than he wants to admit in that trade, especially with the backlash. But the Mavericks start has been kind of rough this year. You know, we've seen no one really get off to the greatest start. Cooper Flagg especially, you know, a lot of expectations coming into this year. How have you felt he's done so far?
I mean, he's the #1 overall pick for a reason. He's going to end up being the all-world player eventually. I just think a lot of pressure was put on him. Everyone kind of expected him to be Luka right away, just because you know how devastating that move was back earlier this year. But he'll develop. He'll end up being all right.
People forget he's the youngest player in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Maddie, do you think he's going to develop with time?
Oh, I definitely think so, especially being so young. He's more inexperienced than all these other NBA players who have been doing this for years. And so it's kind of just important to remember that and think about, like, it's his first time doing this. And so he's going to make some mistakes along the way, but eventually he'll learn, he'll grow, and he'll become a really good player for the NBA.
And I think a big part of his struggles that not a lot of people are talking about is just the roster construction of the Dallas Mavericks. There aren't many ball handlers on this team. You know, Brandon Williams is top 3 in assists on this team. That's not a good team. You know, that's not a good sign. Do you think that the roster construction is has a big part to play in Cooper Flagg's struggles so far?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's looking at the roster itself. I mean, there's a lot of talent there. I mean, you got great young players alongside him like Derek Lively, who I'm pretty high on. But then, just injuries of some of your older guys like Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving, and you just kind of wonder at this point in their career, how much do they really have left? So looking at his numbers, you can't put too much on him because look at what's around him. He doesn't have all that.
Yeah, he doesn't have that elite scorer that really helps these young players to play off. Do you think that when Kyrie returns, that'll really help Cooper Flagg and have him be playing better?
I think it will. I mean, he needs the support of a team, and he needs a team that has good ball handlers. Like, they need a good defense, they need a good offense, and he can't do anything without, like, a good support system.
Absolutely, I agree. I mean, you've talked about the injuries to AD, the injuries to Kyrie. They've been banged up to start the season. Do you think that when these injuries clear up, if they do you think the Mavericks will be able to bounce back and maybe fight for the play-in, playoffs? What do you think?
I mean, a lot of basketball left to play. Obviously, 3-9 isn't the best start, but you got to be optimistic. A lot more left to play. But like I mentioned about their age, I mean, you just hope that those serious injuries, especially with Kyrie Irving ACL, that they can go back to the form that they were originally in. So that's really all you can hope for.
Yeah, for a shifty guard like Kyrie, you never really want the knee injuries. That always scares you, especially when you get older in age. You don't know if they're going to bounce back. But like you said, there's a lot of basketball to be played. So far, who has stood out for you for other teams? Who have been the best team so far in the league for you guys?
Well, my top 4 right now, Oklahoma Thunder. I think they're doing great. Second up, the Nuggets. They're awesome, right? Okay. The Lakers, because, I mean, they have our star player, they have Luka Doncic, and it's hard to beat the man himself. And then lastly, I got the Spurs, because, Victor's out there.
Those teams all have star players that have gotten off to really hot starts. Luka, Shea, Wemby. Who is your MVP this season? Because we've seen these hot starts, but who do you think is going to continue that star and, win MVP?
Yeah, she made a great point with Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, they're picking up right where they left off. The defending champs, 12-1. SGA second in the league with for points per game right now, and making over 50% of his shots from the field right now, which is very impressive considering he makes shots all over the floor. So as much as I don't want to say it, I'd probably say SGA, but honorable mention, the guy who does lead the league in points per game right now, Giannis, for the Bucks. I mean, the reason why I'd probably give the MVP to SGA is just because they're winning more games. I think the Bucks just kind of got to get a little more help around Giannis right now. But at his age and with not a lot of talk going into the season, he's playing really well for them.
That's fair. I mean, I agree with your Shea pick. I think the Thunder have been maybe even better than they were last year. The defense has improved. The offense is looking great. And Shea is having an all-time season. People are underrating it because he doesn't have the triple-doubles like Jokic or Luka or Giannis. But this guy is leading one of the best offenses in the league. And it's because of his turnover aversion. He is one of the only player in NBA history to average 30-plus points with under 2 turnovers. I mean, he just does not turn the ball over. And it goes to the entire OKC team. So he's my pick for MVP too. Maddie?
I've got to say Jokic. I mean, he turned 55 points against the Pacers on Saturday. They won almost by a sliver, 130 to 116, but I mean, he's putting up the points, and that's almost half of overall team stats. So he's an impressive player to watch. And
yeah, Jokic definitely stuffs the stat sheet, and the Nuggets have looked really good this year. I mean, who do you guys, you mentioned those are your top 4 teams. Jack, who are the contenders to you? Who do you think is going to be competing for that title come end of season?
I really like how Maddie mentioned the Spurs, just because I think Victor Wembanyama is really showing everybody all that hype coming out of the draft. He's really looking like the all-world player so far this season. And seeing them up, in the top 4 in the standings right now, I really do think the West will probably look the way it is now, assuming all those teams stay healthy. The Pistons at top of the East right now, I think is a little bit of a surprise. I think they'll slow down a little bit, but other teams right on their tail, the Cavs and Knicks, assuming they stay healthy, they're really talented across the board, so I think they'll stay atop the standings as well.
Yeah, the Pistons are definitely a surprising team. They have Cade Cunningham, Arlington Made, but we didn't know if he was going to take that leap quite yet. And the East kind of has a lot of those teams where you don't know if they're really true contenders yet. Do you think that any of these teams have a shot at the title this year? Anyone in the East?
You never know, just because it's, when come playoff time, you might get hot at the right time. But ultimately, I think for the NBA, the better team is ultimately the one who wins the 7-game series. So it'll be those heavy hitters like the Cavs or the Knicks or the Lakers. Once LeBron gets back and everything, they'll probably start moving their way up. But the Celtics right now, who are struggling a little bit with the absence of Tatum, assuming he could come back, they are a really well-coached team, so I'd be watching out for them as well.
They are really well-coached, but I struggle with the front court depth in Boston. They're starting Neemias Queta. They have talent on their team, but I don't know if I like the depth enough, especially with the pieces they had to sell when Tatum got injured. Kristaps Porzingis moved. Yeah. You saw that with both the Celtics and the Pacers. They moved a lot of the pieces that got them far in the playoffs once those injuries happened. But we've heard a lot of teams mentioned from the West and not a lot from the East. Do you guys think that there is a conference divide this year? Do you think the West is the stronger of the two?
I think so. You have these great teams with these star players, and I'm just not really hearing that much about teams in the East. Like Detroit, they're going off the deep end, in my opinion. I think they're not looking too great. And the Celtics, Jason Tatum, he's hurt. So they're not looking great either. It's just there's not a lot to look forward to or look out for.
That's fair. A team that I want to give a little bit of a mention to from the East is the 76ers. I think they're a little bit underrated. Joel Embiid is Joel Embiid. He's going to be maybe not there for the playoffs, maybe there. But I think they're really good around Embiid for the first time in a while. They have Maxey. They have VJ Edgecombe, who's looked really, really good this year. And I could see them making a little bit of a run in the East when there's not really that top team like we talked about. But, we mentioned the Pistons being a surprising start for a team. Do you guys think any players have had surprising starts that you think they're going to continue, or do you think any players you want to mention at the beginning of the season so far?
Well, being that I'm a fan of theirs, seeing the 5-0 start for the Bulls, but now, they've lost 5 of their last 6. They've been a great team for television, but you mentioned a player. I'm really high on, I hope I don't butcher his name, but Mataz Buzelis. I think one of the better younger players in the NBA, and I'm really hoping that that organization doesn't mess him up because he's going to be a fun guy to watch for years.
That's fair. As a Bulls fan, I want to get your opinion. Josh Giddey, do you think the start's real? Do you think he is kind of legit now, or do you think, what do you think of Josh Giddey?
I was thinking he was legit last season. Putting up the numbers, really kind of picking up his own. I don't think really anyone expected much of him at all when Chicago acquired him. So I was on his bandwagon last year, but this year, considering that he's kind of picking up with that play, but even better, big fan.
That's fair. I think he's terrible. I'm an OKC fan, so I saw a lot of Josh Giddey play.
Yeah.
And I just think he's a transition merchant, which we've seen in these Chicago losses. In the half court, he doesn't really create that much. I think he just struggles to get his own shot off in the half court. But a player that I want to shout out that I think has had a really strong start to the season is A.J. Mitchell for OKC. They've been missing Jalen Williams. They've been missing Aaron Wiggins for a lot of the season. They've been missing a lot of pieces. But A.J. Mitchell is looking like Sixth Man of the Year, and he's really, really impressed me. Let's get final predictions. Who do you think is winning the title this year, Maddie?
Oh, great question. I'm going to go Luka because I'm just a hardcore Luka fan, no matter what team he plays for.
That's fair. Jack, who you got?
If we're basing it off of how this first eighth of the season is, we've been talking about them this whole segment because they're deaf and how SGA's been playing, but probably the Thunder going back-to-back.
OKC is going back-to-back. You heard it here first. Next block, we will be talking the Dallas Cowboys. Join me after these commercial messages.
Are you tired of seeing the same old city? You want to learn something and go overseas? Then study abroad with one of many UNT Study Abroad programs. You can find a Study Abroad office right here at Markey Hall, room 145.
My study abroad program left on me a great impression. We have a lot of different programs and it varies. We have faculty-led, affiliate, and exchange programs. When you're ready to leave for your study abroad program from UNT, you're going to go through pre-departure orientation and modules so that you are prepared.
The power to turn the world into your classroom is right here at UNT with our study abroad programs. Take flight and take in charge of your education.
Hey UNT students! Looking for creativity and inspiration? The UNT Union Gallery invites you to experience artwork at the art exhibit from your own talented Eagle artists. This free exhibit features a rotating selection of incredible artwork from talented Mean Green artists. Don't miss your chance to experience creativity up close. Stop by anytime during union hours. Want to hear more from the artist yourself? Join us at the Ask and Eat reception, where you can dive deeper into the creative process and enjoy a good conversation over a bite to eat. Don't miss the latest exhibit at the UNT Union. Immerse yourself in the art and be sure to explore the many other exciting exhibits rotating in throughout the semester.
I wonder what's on the radio today. I don't know about this. This is not it.
Everything alternative, commercial free. 88.1 Indy.
Here at KNTU, we have two traditional stations, 88.1 Indy and KNTU Jazz. We've also recently launched an internet radio station called Mean Green Hits. If you want to hear more, you can check us out at MediaNorthTexas.com.
That was pretty good.
Welcome back to SportsZone. I am joined by Bowie Devlin and CJ Vasquez as we talk about a team that has been up and down this year, the Dallas Cowboys. You know, in their last game that they played against the Cardinals, they didn't look very good, did they? You know, but coming off the bye week, they made a lot of moves in the trade deadline. Logan Wilson, Quinnen Williams. I mean, going to get into the Raiders game, how do you guys feel this defense is going to perform?
I think with the help of not just only Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson being new add-ons, you also got to remember, too, that Damarian Overshown is going to be coming back this game, and also, too, Siobhan Revel is also going to be making his season debut soon. With that being said, having that extra reinforcements coming in, I think that's going to help Dallas's defense a little bit more, even though I'm still a little bit on the suspect part on Matt Eberflus and his defensive schemes. Hopefully with these four new impacts on the team, they're going to do something for this defense.
That's fair. This is kind of the first time we've seen this Cowboys defense fully healthy since the beginning of the season. Bowie, do you think that this is a defense that has the talent to be top half of the league, or do you think that they're going to continue their struggles going into the season?
I believe that they're going to linger near the middle. I mean, these two new additions with Logan and Quinnen, I just think that that's something that really just gets them on the right track, you know, and for this next game, I think each of them has at least one sack each. So, I mean, it's going to be the start of something good for Dallas, especially with this next 5 games coming up.
Yeah, and this upcoming game against the Raiders is one that really will test if the defense is ready, because Geno Smith has been terrible all year, has just been absolutely trash. And I mean, if the defense is going to get right, it is against Geno. But they do have Ashton Jeanty as a, you know, he's been pretty good running the ball. Do you think that Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson are going to shore up that run defense enough to withhold Jeanty?
I think they will. I think they're going to hold Jeanty up a few points. And but also you got to remember, too, Brock Bowers. You also got to remember about that, too, and trying to cover him. Like, you got to pray that their corners, like Deron Bland, can cover up basically him. And with the fact that he's also a good merchant out there, a tight end merchant, and Geno can throw the ball to him. I mean, they had a bad season, right? But you got to think about the Jacksonville game. They're also playing good that game as well, and a little bit of Denver as well. Just the fact that, you know, you can't really always forget about Brock Bowers.
Yeah, the Brock Bowers matchup is definitely what's going to make or break this game. Bowie, who do you think is going to guard Bowers? How do you think they're going to do? You know, how do you see the Cowboys matching up with Brock Bowers?
I think that they're going to do well. You know, Bowers he just came back and he started destroying people and defenses. So, I mean, it's going to be a test for sure. I think Bland has got to be on his absolute perfect game, no mistakes, can't be slipping like he did against Marvin Harrison. So, yeah.
It's going to be tough to stop Bowers, but I do have some faith in this new-look defense. But area of the field that we haven't really had to criticize much this year is that offense. But against the Cardinals, 17 points. Dak threw a pick. He didn't look that good. I mean, Do you think that they're going to be able to bounce back this week?
I think they'll finally bounce back. I mean, lately it's just been the defense has been holding them back, and offense just goes out there and does the same thing because they're not getting help from the defense. If the defense can get their stuff together, offense is going to rebound. I mean, Dak has shown, to come back out of the bye and play well. I mean, and he was dealing with a little injury on Monday night a couple weeks ago, but I think he's going to be just fine, and he's going to rebound this game.
Bowie, do you think that this offense is going to be back to its, crazy scoring ways against Vegas?
For sure. I think CD and Pickens both eat this game. I mean, this is a good matchup. Dallas offensively, I really believe that they can just take advantage. And I think Dak goes for 22 of 30, 247, 2 touchdowns in the air, and 1 rushing.
I could definitely see that because this offense has been really, really good this year. And it hasn't just been Dak. It's been the rushing game. It's been CD and Pickens in the receiving game. I think that Clayton Adams, the offensive coordinator, hasn't gotten enough credit for that. He's built this team into a feared rushing attack, which no one expected preseason. I mean, how have you guys felt about the running game?
For the running game, and also too for Clayton Adams, I knew that he was a good offensive coordinator from his Arizona days. Him elevating that offense with Kyler Murray there. I mean, it's showing here in Dallas that he's basically putting his touch on that offense here from Arizona to now in Dallas. And with that running game, you're getting more guys like Javonte Williams going off now. And he's basically revitalized his career after being, injury-prone in Denver for so many years.
Yeah, I was looking at Javonte's stat line today just to check it out, and I saw something crazy. He already has more touchdowns than the entire Cowboys team last year. They had 6 rushing touchdowns last year. He has 8 this year. I mean, that type of difference cannot be understated. I think he has been kind of the MVP of this offense and kind of the MVP of the team. Who have you guys seen as the MVP of the Cowboys this kind of season?
As much as I do love Javonte Williams and his story and how he's brought back his career, I'm going to say George Pickens is my MVP. Just the way that we got him for cheap, basically, from the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's a steal from them. And just the way that he's transforming this passing attack since arriving in Dallas, and how his deep threat has ability, has contested catch skills, and has stretched his defense and open lanes for even guys like CeeDee Lamb and for Jake Ferguson. It's really been a true miracle for George Pickens to be here and helping out this offense.
I completely agree. George Pickens has kind of transformed this offense, and he might be the best wide receiver, too, that CeeDee Lamb has ever had. I mean, he's been that good in the time he's been here. Bowie, who's been your MVP this season?
I mean, it has to be Dakota Prescott. I mean, just the way he is throwing the ball this year, it's something that we haven't seen since really his rookie year. I mean, he is slinging it 2,319 yards. That's 6th in the NFL, 17 touchdowns. That's 7th in the NFL. Then you got 6 interceptions, which, I mean, it happens. And then a quarterback ranking of 74.4, which is 3rd in the league. I mean, he's been balling out all year. I don't see him stopping, and I think he's going to continue this until the end of the season.
That's fair. I mean, so going into this Raiders game, I think we're all pretty confident in a win here, or a good performance at least. That would put the Cowboys at 4-5-1. How do you guys see the rest of the season going? Because they are outside of playoff contention right now, but do you think that with a win here, they could kind of kickstart something new? You talked about that 5-game stretch, Bowie. How do you think they're going to do through that?
Well, the next 5 games are against, after Raiders, it's Philly, Kansas City, Detroit, Vikings, and then Chargers, 4 of those being at home for Dallas. So they need to win about 3 or 4 of those games to have a legitimate shot at keeping themselves in the playoff contention. And if they do, I see them sneaking in at the 7 seed.
That's fair. CJ, you heard that 5-game stretch. You know how important it is to the season. How do you think the Cowboys are going to do in that stretch?
I mean, with that stretch, obviously with the win with the Raiders would be a huge boost in confidence. Philly, they're still looking, very fraudulent. I mean, 10-7 against the Packers on Monday night didn't look too good. And I think they can beat Philly. Kansas City may be a little bit tough, especially it's on Thanksgiving. And then Detroit, I think they could lose that one because Detroit is just, they always have our number all the time. And then with the Vikings, I think we can beat J.J. McCarthy in Dallas on Sunday Night Football. But with that being said, I mean, with the remaining schedule, yeah, it looks bad on paper. But if the defense gets their stuff together, offense is clicking all cylinders, they have a chance to make the playoffs. I mean, this team could easily be the 2021 Steelers. I mean, they have a tie on their hands. They could easily win out and be 9-8-1 and become a 7th seed.
That's fair. And I mean, if we do get to the playoffs, looking very far ahead, do you think that this offense with Dak Prescott and Javonte Williams could maybe make some noise when they come playoff time?
I think so. I mean, if we're the 7th seed, we'd probably play either the Eagles again or heck, even the Seattle Seahawks. in the first round. One of those two are going to be the first or two seeds, if we're being honest here.
Bowie, I mean, how do you think this team could do when it comes to playoff time?
It all just depends on everyone clicking on all cylinders, because it's just been that story the whole year. The offense has been the biggest key piece of the team, and the offense can't slack. They need to go like all effort, keep throwing to Pickens, keep throwing to CD, and get Williams involved more, because I mean he's been one of the key sleepers that I don't think anybody is talking about for the Cowboys.
That's fair. And talking about the season overall, we're 3-5-1, looking on the edge of the playoffs. Brian Schottenheimer's first year as a head coach. Do you think this has been a success? Because, he's had to deal with the Micah Parsons trade, a lot of stuff. I mean, do you think that Schottenheimer has kind of shown that he has what it takes to be the head coach of the Cowboys?
I think so. I mean, people are going to compare this to Jason Garrett's first year. I mean, he was a coordinator and things like that. With that being said, I mean, it's a fine year. It's obviously going to be a rebuilding year, so you're going to expect that. Your bumps in the road.
Yeah, and there definitely have been bumps in the road. Maybe the Cowboys will make the playoffs. I don't have much confidence, but we will have to see for the rest of the season. Next block, we will be talking about the upcoming UFC event. Join me after these commercial messages.
Hey Alex, this guy on the internet says he wants to give me money.
That sounds suspicious.
What do you mean?
Typically, strangers who promise you money on the internet have their own best interest in mind. They often use bounce checks, which will disappear shortly after depositing, but not before they've asked for some money in return.
So he doesn't really want to spoil me?
No.
Well, then what should I do?
The best way to handle it is to block and report the suspicious message, or even consult local law enforcement if you've already fallen victim.
So I guess we aren't going to Key West for spring break.
No.
There's no harm in wanting to have fun while in college, but it's easy to lose track of how much you've had. Apps like Drink Control and Alkadroid can help keep track of your consumption and blood alcohol levels. If you or someone else does drink too much, the signs of alcohol poisoning are as follows: pale skin, vomiting, confusion, low body temperatures, irregular breathing, blacking out, and is hard to wake up or cannot be woken up.
Dude, are you okay? Hey, what's wrong? Wake up.
It's an exciting time of year, but it's important to be responsible. If you suspect someone is suffering from alcohol poisoning, get help immediately. You will not get in trouble for seeking help if you are underage. For more info and resources, go to UNT's Division of Student Affairs.
Welcome back to SportsZone. I'm your host, John Phillips, and for this final block, we are talking UFC 322. Gunnar Talbot, Jacob Garcia, how excited are you guys for this event?
Super pumped up.
Well,
can't wait.
Best card of the year, all right?
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, there are some big fights on this. There's two people moving weight classes to get some title fights. The first one, JDM versus Islam. Let's get straight into the main event. How do you guys see that fight going?
Well, let me just say this. I've been waiting for this fight for a long time, all right? Islam has not, he hasn't had a good fight in a while because his last like 2 fights has been injuries, has been people pulling out. This is finally a clean fight week. We get the fight that we were promised, and it's just an awesome fight. We got Islam Makhachev. He's going up, trying to become a double champion, trying to do history. Only, 9 other UFC fighters have ever done. If he wins this fight, it might be one of the greatest ever.
I mean, I definitely think he will be. I mean, do you think moving up the weight class is going to impact this fight?
I do. I'm excited to see I'm interested to see how the difference in weight, because JDM obviously being a much bigger fighter than Islam's ever fought, how would it translate into the pressure and the grappling and all of that Islam has been so used to putting on to other fighters. And we know that Islam's had trouble with this cut. He's talking about it. Bulk rather. He's having trouble putting on weight. And so, like I said, I want to see how the pressure translates. And we know his striking's gotten a lot better. JDM has some good striking too. We saw it against the Bilal fight in a war. And so I think Islam will get it done. I think it's going to be a dogfight, kind of like Volk and Islam won. Give me Islam by decision.
It's definitely going to be a great fight. Like you said, the big question is, can he deal with that weight? And I think Islam, he is a smaller guy, but he's also probably a stronger guy. I don't know if you saw, they took the grip test. He had the strongest grip out of any UFC fighter.
More than Alex
ever.
Pereira, too.
Yes. So I think Islam Makhachev, I also have him by decision. I think it's going to be a 5-round fun fight, but I think he's just going to wear down JDM.
I think it's going to be very strategic.
That's fair. But JDM, I think, like you mentioned, the Bilal fight, he kind of showed that he can hang for those 5-round long, drag-him-out fights because he threw more punches every round in that fight. I mean, I think that he could have the stamina to last against Islam, but I do think Islam's probably taking the W there. And you mentioned he might be the GOAT or one of the GOATs after this fight. What do you guys think this does for his GOAT resume?
I think it shoots him straight to the top. I think straight off the bat, moving up in this weight class that obviously he's never uncharted territory almost. He takes this belt, he's the greatest of all time. Arguably already is. This will solidify him as the greatest of all time.
Okay, I don't know about greatest of all time.
No, greatest of all time.
Okay.
I believe that completely 100%.
Over John Jones.
Off.
Did
out
Islam
of
ever
the
duck? Did Islam ever duck? Did Islam ever duck Tom Aspinall? I mean,
okay, he's ducking
John Jones quit ducking.
sometimes. Okay, the thing with Islam Makhachev is just, he is going to be one of the greats. He could be on the Mount Rushmore after this. He hasn't lost since Bowie was 9 years old. All right, it was 2015 the last time he lost a fight, and even that was a questionable decision by the ref. All right, he would tie Anderson Silva's 16-fight win streak, and that is hard. All right. This is the modern UFC. No one gets – Kamaru Usman has 15 fights, and he got head kicked by Leon Edwards. No offense to Anderson Silva, but it was easier to win 16 fights in a row in the early 2010s than it is in the modern UFC. And if he ties his feet, becomes a double champion, and hasn't lost in all – and dominant – people want to say he's boring. He's finished his last 5 fights. Every title fight he's finished. It would be insane.
Yeah, MMA, boring is just a code word for dominant, I think.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Every dominant fighter is just boring because they hate to see him win.
You don't really love the sport if you think that dominating's boring.
Absolutely. But, on this card, we have another dominant, maybe GOAT candidate, with Zhang Weili versus Valentina Shevchenko, another title fight where someone's moving up in weight. Do you guys think that the title holder is going to retain in this case, or do you think that it's going to?
I think Zhang Weili is going to take the belt off Valentina here. Honestly, personally, this is the most excited I've been for a women's UFC fight. More than Amanda Nunes and Ronda Rousey when that happened back in the day.
Really?
This one is going to be a strategic masterclass. And I think Zhang Weili is going to get it done with her aggression and her. Obviously, she's little. She's 5'4", and she still fights like she's 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
She pressures in, and so I think that she's going to get it done over Valentina. Valentina's got great defensive fighting, great counter-striking. So strategic, like I said, I like Zhang Weili by decision here. I think she's going to get it done with her aggression.
That's fair.
I like what you said, like this fight, I feel like this fight isn't getting the hype it deserves, all right?
I
This
agree.
is probably the second and third greatest women UFC fighters ever going at it, fighting for a championship. Same thing, moving up in weight class. I think it's a great fight. I think I got Zhang Weili by knockout in probably the 4th round. I think Valentina Shevchenko, she wants it to be pretty. She wants it to be like a regular fight. I think Zhang Weili can go in there. She can make it ugly. She can make it a dog fight. She's smaller. She's a less of a reach, so she really has to but she's a harder hitter. Like if Valentina wins this fight, she's gonna win it by decision. I think Zhang Weili can knock her out.
I absolutely agree. You said decision for Weili, and I was kind of like,
I think decision.
I think it's going to be KO because she has that power. I think she's going to have to get inside on Shevchenko. She has that aggression for sure. And like you said, Shevchenko is more that counter puncher with a longer reach. I think Weili's going to get in there and knock her out maybe a little bit earlier than round 4. I could see maybe a round 3 or 2 knockout. But this card isn't just these 2 main events. There's a lot of great fights on this. What other fights stand out to you guys?
I'm really excited for Carlos Paredes and Leon Edwards. The fighting nerds have had a rough stretch in the past, all the recent fights. Well, except Carlos Paredes, knocked out Jeff Neal with that beautiful spinning elbow. I think that he's going to get it done over Leon Edwards, get back on track. Out of all the fighting nerds, I believe in Carlos Paredes the most. I just like the guy. I don't know. He smokes cigarettes. He's pretty cool. He's pretty cool.
Nerd,
One of the coolest things, he gets out of that octagon, starts drinking, smoking. It's all right, dude. This guy.
That's the guy I like.
And Leon Edwards is not. Personally, I believe that great of a boxer. He's more of a let's go 1-2 and let me back off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Carlos Paredes is going to get in his face. He's going to make it dirty, and I think that's going to get him the victory. I have Paredes by knockout in this fight.
Leon Edwards is the definition of washed. All
Yeah.
Right? He got lucky in the first fight against Kamaru Usman.
Thank you.
He was losing all 4 rounds,
you.
Right? He cheated that second fight, grabbed the fence, did a lot of questionable stuff that second fight, and he hasn't really done. And then he's not that good of a fighter. He is okay. He's good. He's a top 5 fighter, but he just got submitted or he lost to Sean Brady. Like, he's on the downfall. And Carlos Proctor is a dangerous fighter.
He
all
is.
right?
He's on the rise right now.
He's a dangerous fighter, and that's the last person you want to be fighting. And I feel like Leon Edwards, he's kind of a quitter. Like, he just is. Like, if it gets hard, if it gets tough, he's just going to quit.
And this fight definitely will be tough. But you mentioned another name that's on this card, Sean Brady. Sean Brady is facing off against the undefeated Michael Morales. I mean, do you think that Sean Brady's going to take the W here, or Morales is keeping that 0?
I think Morales is keeping it 0. When Sean Brady, his only loss has been to Bilal, it's more when, kind of like I said earlier about the Carlos Paredes fight, dirty boxing. He's in his face, and I think that Michael Morales is going to get that done. He has a lot more power than Bilal. He's the bigger fighter. He's arguably a middleweight with his body shape. I think one day we'll see him in middleweight, but that's a different topic. But I think he's going to get it done over Sean Brady. He just has to maintain distance and be careful because on the ground, obviously, Sean Brady is a very dangerous fighter. So,
yeah, I mean, that 7-inch reach advantage is huge for Morales. And also,
79-inch reach.
Insane. But I think staying up is going to be really important for him. But he's shown a lot of takedown defense. I think Morales really has impressed me with staying up on his feet. And I think that he could be the upset, by the money line. I think he could be the upset for the card.
See, I think Sean Brady's gonna win. All right, I know
this guy,
bro.
this guy.
I just want to be different. I know there's a height disadvantage, the reach disadvantage. He's a smaller guy. All of this, right? But he literally, like you're saying, he can't beat strikers. He literally just beat Leon Edwards. He submitted him, by the way. I think he can.
Leon Edwards does 1-2 and backs off. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. The thing is like he is fighting Michael. He is a dirty boxer, and it's gonna give him problems. But maybe I'm just a sucker for a grappler. 8 out of 10 times, you pick the grappler over the striker, you're gonna win the fight.
It's gonna be a slick fight. It's gonna be a really good fight.
Definitely gonna be a great fight. Gunnar, any other fights stand out to you on this card?
Bo Nickel. All right, I know they're kind of giving him, it's Dana White privilege. They're just giving them this W, but I'm always happy to see it. Ginger, he's Ginger. Bo Nickel's my guy. Shout out, Bo.
Yeah, look a lot like Bo Nickel, I can't lie.
I get that all the time.
But no, Bo Nickel has a lot to prove. Yeah, he has a lot to prove because he's coming off that loss to RDR. I mean, do you think that he's going to bounce back? Do you think he's still that top prospect for the UFC?
I think he's going to bounce back heavily. Like he said, they're kind of throwing him a lob here. And RDR is at the top of the middleweight division right now. You know what I mean? He's arguably a top contender, and Bo Nickel was just not ready for that at the time. And so they need to play the slow game with him.
He kept talking all that crap on his podcast.
Yeah,
he did. He said you beat Hamza Chimaev. Like, all right.
I remember on the last show, we were talking about the fighting nerds, and I said, just stop, keep your mouth shut, and just get to work.
And Bo Nickel's
Bo Nickel's a perfect example. Take my advice.
And he said that that loss gave him some perspective, and he's going to kind of lock in. But I think he has a lot to prove this fight. Another fight that I think is really, really exciting. It might not be the two best fighters, but Gregory Rodriguez versus Kopolov. I think those are two guys who just stand and bang. I think they have 22 knockouts combined between them.
Yes.
This is a fight where they're just gonna bang, bang, bang. I'm really excited to see that fight.
That's on the prelim, right? That's why this is such a great card.
Absolutely.
Like so long, the UFC kind of had a problem. People were talking about they're having cards that were halfly put together, cards that some of the main event things dude, that's a prelim fight. And there just hasn't been good fights. And now we finally, maybe because it's the MSG card, we're finally getting a good
card of the year. Book it. Card of the year.
I think it might be that card of the year. But that's all the time we have. Next week is our final show. So join us on Tuesday and Thursday for SportsZone. I'm John Phillips, your host. Have a great night.